Hi, it's Jan Yvonne. Here's a yoga sequence for cyclists that's going to help your body rebalance and recover after a ride. So let's start sitting on a mat and let your feet be flat on the mat and kind of nice and wide apart, a little wider than hip width. Yeah, your hands are going to come back kind of beside and behind your hips, right? We're going to begin by just letting the knees rock from side to side. So easy does it, starting to bring that nice internal rotation into the hip sockets. Make sure you got enough room between your feet so that inside knee is going to have room to come all the way down to the mat if it wants to. It's easy does it, back and forth. And then from here, next time your knees come over to the right, draw the right heel a little bit in towards the groin. Your left leg is just going to swing back behind you. Let your hands come to either side of your right knee. Yeah. Let your upper body extend forward over that front leg and then round your spine and lower your head and come back to upright. So we're just going to keep going with this. Easy does it, back and forth. You can begin to turn the angle of your body a little bit. So maybe you want to turn and face that front shin, right, that right shin, and let your upper body come forward this way. See what kind of a different stretch that gives you. Or you can turn in the other direction, kind of twisting and looking over your right shoulder, and then extending down towards the mat in a gentle twisting extension. And then come back to upright. We'll swing the legs in the other direction. So that left heel now draws in, the right leg is back behind you wherever's comfortable. Hands to either side of the left knee to begin. Let your upper body extend forward, and then round your spine, lower your head, and come back to upright. Keep going. Again, when you're ready, turning to face that shin, if it feels appropriate for you, if it gives you a good stretch. And if you like, twisting and looking behind you. Coming into a twisting extension. Good, and then next time you come to upright, come back to center. We'll swing the legs out from under us and come to table. So we'll start with some cat-cow stretches, right? So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale and press your tailbone up towards the ceiling as you arch your back and lift your head. And then exhale and tuck your tailbone, rounding your spine and lowering your head. So we're going to keep going back and forth. So nice, easy pelvic tilts, right? Tilt the pelvis forward, tilt it back. See if the rest of the spine then can follow along like a wave. Nice, gentle flexion and extension of the spine. So then when you come back to neutral, from here we're going to come into a puppy stretch. And you're going to let the forearms come down to the mat. And now I'm kind of walking my hands forward a little bit. So see how my hips are a little bit forward of my knees. That's where we want to be in the start position. And then as we begin to bring the hips back, right, the hips are going to be up in the air. My heart and my forehead are coming down towards the mat, right? So my thighs are just about vertical. My hips now are just above my knees. And I'm letting my upper body soften, right? So I'm letting my heart melt down towards the mat, and I'm seeing if I can just allow my upper back here to just get soft and mushy. Let this opening happen in the front of the shoulders. And take nice deep breaths. And then come back up, leaning forward back into the forearms, and then you can come back up onto your hands. Yeah. So from here, come to standing on your knees. So if you have knee sensitivity, definitely need to put a blanket or an extra mat under your knees so that they can feel comfortable. Yeah. And I like to have a couple of blocks nearby just in case. So you're going to start with your right foot forward, kind of into a lunge, right? Let your ankle be just a little bit forward of your knee for this, yeah? Your right hand is going to be on the knee, your left arm is going to dangle at your side. Inhale and press your hips forward. Let that left arm extend up overhead. So my torso is staying vertical, so try not to lean forward into it. Let the torso stay vertical and the fingertips reaching up. And then exhale back, arm to your side. And again, inhaling forward and exhaling back. And one more time, inhale forward and exhale back. And this time then we're going to let both hands come on top of that right knee. We're going to press the hips forward. We're going to hold the stretch. Take some nice deep breaths. See if you can let your shoulders relax. See if you can relax a little bit around the hips and allow the stretch to happen. Don't go too deeply into the stretch, yeah? Don't max out. But take some nice deep breaths and see if you can begin to release tension in the hips and the legs. And then bring the hips back. Now we're going to straighten out the front leg and curl the toes back. So we're going to come into a little hamstring stretch. So make sure that leg is right, extended straight out in front of the hip and it's not like kind of winging off to the side, right? Curl your toes back. Let your hands come to your waist. Hinge at the hip crease. Let your upper body extend forward over that front leg. Here's where the blocks may come in. If you're starting to feel wobbly, bring your hands onto the blocks. Yeah, remember there's 3 heights to the blocks that you can use, yeah? If you can bring your hands down to the mat as well as you extend your upper body over that front leg, right? But again, we don't want to round the spine. We want to feel that extension and feeling that stretch in the hamstring. So see if you can draw that right hip back towards the wall behind you. Yeah, so we're squaring up the hips. You may feel a change in how you feel that stretch too. Good. And then bring the upper body back to upright and come back to standing on the knees, switch legs. So with the left foot forward, remember the ankle comes a little bit forward of the knee, right? Left hand on the knee, right arm is dangling at your side. Inhale, press the hips forward, arm up overhead, and then exhale back. And again, inhale forward, and exhale back. Again, inhale forward, exhale back. And then both hands on top of that front knee, press the hips forward. Relax your shoulders. Deepen your breath. And see if you can begin to let go of holding in the body. Yeah. Deep, relaxed breath. And then bringing the hips back, straightening out the front leg again. So again, we're going to curl the toes back. So again, we want to make sure the leg is extended straight out in front of the hip, right? Hands starting at your waist, curling the front toes back, right? And hinging forward, upper body extending forward. Hands can stay here. Again, if you're feeling wobbly, bring your hands onto blocks or your mat. Let your upper body extend over that front leg. Again, drawing now the left hip back towards the back wall, right? Helping to square up the hips. And you may feel the stretch a little differently as you do that. Good. Come on back to upright. And then come back onto both of your knees and then come onto hands and knees, so back to a table posture, right? So once again with wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. From here we're going to make our way to downward facing dog. So we're going to curl the toes under. As you lift your knees up off the mat, keep your knees bent, your heels up, abdomen pressing back towards the thighs, head down between your arms, sitting bones lifting, yeah? Good. So I'm rotating my thighs inward, but I'm not letting my heels rotate outward, yeah? And then come into your full down dog. Press your heels down towards the mat. And sitting bones lifting, my shins are pressing back. My upper back is broadening. Right? Like my armpits want to look at each other underneath. Strong yoga hands. Fingers are spread wide apart. Pressure is out away from the wrist. So pressing more into the palm at the base of the fingers or even further out by the fingertips. And then from here, walk your feet forward a couple of steps and walk your hands back. We're going to let the upper body just hang there now in a ragdoll posture. So see if you can just allow the body to relax. So knees bent as much as they need to be and feet as far apart from each other as they need to be. So this can feel comfortable on your low back. So you're not getting a big flexion and rounding in the lower back, right? Want to be able to relax here. So the arms can dangle if you'd rather cradle your hands near elbows. But see if you can begin to release the muscles of your neck, relax your shoulders. Make any kind of movements like maybe swaying a little side to side. Maybe you want to jiggle your shoulders a little bit or gently shake your head to help just start to let go. Let the weight of your head stretch your neck. And then from here, we're going to slowly roll ourselves to standing. Easy does it. Let your body unfold. If you have low back pain, hands to your thighs and press yourself up with a straight spine. Okay. And then when you come to upright, we're going to step into a wide leg stance. We're going to come into some wide leg forward folds. So building it from the ground up, pay attention to the orientation of your feet first, right? So let your feet be as wide apart from each other as is going to be comfortable for you. And the heels are extended out. So the heels further away from each other than the toes. So you're a little pigeon-toed, right? That's going to help decompress the low back. From here, we're going to clasp the hands behind us. If you have tightness in the front of the shoulders and your arms get stuck, right, when you come into the forward fold, right? They just, your elbows got to bend and your arms feel stuck here. Use a strap. Bring your hands about hip width apart on the strap and start there. I'm going to do one repetition without the strap, and then I'm going to do a second repetition with. So the first repetition, hands clasped, arms straight, shoulders back and down, hinge at the hip crease. Let your upper body extend forward. The crown of the head is going to reach down towards the mat and the arms extending overhead, bringing that stretch into the front of the shoulders. Again, taking nice deep breaths. And then slowly, I'm coming to upright. I'm lengthening the spine, though. I'm beginning to turn my gaze slightly forward so I can draw the upper body back to upright with a straight spine. Release your hands, and then one more repetition. So if you used the strap in the first repetition, use it again in the second repetition. You might want to bring the hands a little bit further apart this time. If you did not use a strap in the first repetition and you're using it here, just be careful if you've got a lot of opening in your shoulders that you don't go too far with it, right? Because now you're going to have even more mobility there, right? So again, hinging at the hip crease, let your upper body extend forward, crown reaching down, arms extending up overhead. Again, nice deep breath, let that opening happen in the front of the shoulders. And then slowly, again, with a straight spine, begin to turn your gaze forward so you can slowly draw the upper body back to upright. Nice. And then set the strap aside. Heel toe your feet back together. From here, we're going to come into a little standing sun salutation. So, from Tadasana, mountain pose, insides the feet parallel, feet as close as is comfortable for you. Weight distributes evenly across the feet. Tailbone drops, belly in, lift up and out through the rib cage. Shoulders relaxing, crown lifting. On an inhale, reach the arms out and up overhead, take a nice long gentle arc back, and then exhale and swan dive forward. Let your head come towards your knees, bend your knees if you need to, and then inhale to a flat back, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold, elongating the spine. The hands coming to wherever. They can come to your shins, your knees, your calves. If you can keep the hands on the mat, go for it. And then exhaling back to a forward fold. And then inhale, reverse swan dive. Extend the arms out and all the way up overhead, hands together. Exhale, the hands to the heart. Again, inhale, turn the fingertips down, extend out and up. Long, gentle arc back. Exhale and swan dive forward. Let your head come toward your knees. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Extend out and up. Hands together. Exhale, the hands to the heart. One more time. Inhale, turn the fingertips down, extend out and up, nice long gentle arc. Exhale and swan dive forward, head to the knees. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Extend the arms out and up, hands together. Exhale, your hands to your heart. Take a nice deep breath. On an exhale, let your arms float to your side. From here, come to the front of your yoga mat. I'm going to turn sideways for you so you can kind of see me in profile here. But at the front of your mat, again, in Tadasana, inhale and extend your arms out overhead again. Nice, long, gentle arc. Exhale, swan dive forward. Head to the knees. Once more, inhale to a flat back. Exhale to a forward fold. This time, fingers even with your toes. And just step right back to downward facing dog. So again, find your full expression here of down dog. Yeah? Thighs rotating in, sitting bones lifting, shins pressing back, upper back broadening. From here, we're going to come into Pigeon, Kapotasana. So you're going to extend your right leg back and then draw the knee forward. So that right knee is somewhere near that right wrist. The lower leg is crossing in front of the body. The back leg then is going to extend straight back behind you. Yeah. If you've got a gap between your right hip and the mat, it's okay for it to hang in the air if it's not causing discomfort. If it feels more comfortable and allows you to the hips to settle more comfortably into pigeon with something under there, put a blanket or a block or something under there. Yeah? Make sure that back leg is extended straight back behind you. Lead with the heart and let your upper body extend forward over the front leg, and then bring your forehead down to the mat or your block or your hands. Now, if pigeon is not feeling comfortable, if for whatever reason it's not accessible for you, either it causes knee pain or you just don't have the mobility to come into it, don't worry about it. Come into a figure four stretch. The figure four looks like this. You'll lie on your back and you're going to cross your right ankle over your left, just above your left knee. You're going to reach in there and hold on to the back of that left leg and draw it in, right? So you're getting that same stretch. Flex this right foot. That's going to help protect the knee. But drawing in here to bring that same stretch into this outer hip. Yeah. From here, whether you're in pigeon or figure four, we're going to move into a quad stretch. So if you're going to move into that from pigeon, let your upper body come to upright, and then bend the back leg, reach around with your left hand, see if you can hold onto the top of the foot and draw that heel in towards the outer hip. Again, if you're in the figure four and this doesn't feel appropriate for you, roll over onto your side and grab a hold of that top of that left foot and draw yourself into the hamstring or the quad stretch this way, right? And then releasing. Again, if you're coming from pigeon, curl the back toes under, come back to down dog. And then we come into it on the other side. So extend your left leg back, draw that knee forward, lower leg to the mat, back leg extends back behind you. Again, if you want to put something under that left hip, go for it, and then lead with your heart, extending the upper body forward, forehead to the mat, your block, or your hands. Again, if this is not feeling accessible for you, come into a figure four stretch, lying on your back. Take some nice, deep, slow breaths here. See if you can relax into the stretch. And then from pigeon, bringing the upper body back to upright. Now, again, bending the back leg, reach around with your right hand this time. See if you can hold on to the top of that foot, drawing it in to the outer hip. I'm kind of drawing the belly in a little bit, again, helping to protect the lumbar spine. Remember, if you're in the figure four stretch, just roll over onto your side to do the quad stretch. And then release that back foot. Curl the toes under. Make your way back to downward facing dog. And then from down dog, come back onto your knees and come on back to upright. So from here, We're going to come to lying on our backs, coming into one of my favorite stretches for the hips, Supta Padangusthasana, reclined big toe pose. So, lying on your back, grab a hold of your strap, and loop it around your right foot. So coming into the quad stretch first, the hamstring stretch. So sometimes this left leg is going to want to come up. That's okay. Try to give it some encouragement back down. See if you can grab the strap in such a way. I like to bring a hand on either side of the strap so my shoulders can be relaxed down on the mat. From here, take both ends of the strap into your right hand. Open that leg out to the right. Again, that left hip might want to pop up. If it is, see if you can give it a little bit of encouragement back down. And then bring that leg back up to center. Switch hands with the strap and come over into the twist. Might feel more comfortable to kind of scoot your hips to the right a couple of inches, because then it'll allow the hips to stack, right? Get that stretch into the IT band and the outer hip. The right arm can come out into a T position. And then back to center. We're going to switch legs. So hamstring stretch on the left side. Now, again, remember, you don't have to max out. Find a good stretch, but back off from your edge. Take some nice deep breaths here. Find a way to hold the strap so your shoulders can be relaxed. And again, taking both ends of the strap now into your left hand, the leg's going to open out to the left. Right arm can be out into a T position. Again, if the right hip wants to pop up, go ahead and kind of give it a little bit of encouragement back down, yeah? And then draw that leg back to center. Switch hands if you want to scoot your hips to the left a little bit first before coming into the twist. Go right ahead. Left arm in a T position. So try to let the hips stack, that left hip stacking on top of the right, so the torso comes into a twist. And then slowly back to center. And release the strap. From here, we're going to come into a variation of Shavasana, or the relaxation part of class. This one is called Legs Up the Wall Pose, Viparita Karani. One of my favorite go-to recovery places to be. So what that's going to look like is you're going to scoot your butt up to the wall and kind of sit sideways, right? So then as we lay back, the torso is going to sort of rotate towards the center of the room more, so the legs then have a chance to come up the wall. This is kind of an easy way to get into it. So with the legs up the wall, your butt can be right up against the wall. If you've got tight hamstrings, though, it's perfectly okay for your butt to be a little bit further away from the wall. We don't want to feel a hamstring stretch. The purpose of this posture is not to stretch anything. It's to allow things to relax. So if you're feeling a stretch in the hamstring, scoot your butt further from the wall. Some people like their back to be flat on the mat. Some people like to have a little bit of height. I like to put something under my sacrum, my low back. A rolled up blanket is ideal. For me, some of you may want a little bit more, especially if you've got a longer, larger torso. You may want a bolster, but a blanket works great as well. So I'm bringing it under a little bit above the sacrum, sort of more towards the lumbar, so my tailbone can have a chance to tilt down towards the mat. Now I'm letting my arms come away from my body with the palms up. And I'm allowing the body now to relax. My shoulders relaxing, my legs, allowing the fluid to drain from the legs, the lactic acid and other fluids, to aid the body in its recovery. And I see how completely I can relax into it.